So I think for this, I want to be test student. So I'll turn into test student again. And the thing that I want you to demonstrate most is it has to do with the fill in the blank questions. Last week I did some of the demo. So ideally, you watch through the lecture once, and as you get to the questions, because you just watch the lecture, you are paying attention, you could just answer it as it comes up. That's my ideal scenario, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Maybe you're multitasking, or maybe what I'm asking is a bit of a more obscure point in the lecture, and the first time watching, people miss it. And I demonstrate two ways in which you might do it. The way I wish people would do, go back and rewatch, or you can skip around maybe using the caption, and hopefully that helps you spot the exact section and figure it out that way. The second way I demonstrated was using the site Notebook LM, because this class Notebook LM site actually has access to the transcript. So if you ask the Notebook LM the question, hey, I'm trying to answer this fill in the blank question, can you help me answer it? The Notebook LM will do that really well because it has all the resources it needs to do that. Now, so I'm thinking of a scenario where someone feels like you don't want to rely on the AI so much or at all. You feel like that there's a level of I don't know, not quite dishonesty, but level of something that like you are doing something that you shouldn't do, maybe. Me going over this again, it's really prompted by one of the lecture feedback. One person was saying the fill in the blank that person feels is too hard because if you just miss that word in that one sentence, it's too time consuming to go back and I will be honest and say the fill in the blank questions, this is the first semester I'm trying it, and I'm thinking about doing that with my other classes as well, and this is my kind of testing semester. And as I was writing those questions with the help of AI, I had a couple different criteria in mind, and the number one thing that I was trying to avoid was basically the sentences that you will see in the fill in the blank. It's not some random sentence in the lecture with a random word blanked out. It's usually the context that you are seeing. It's usually more than a sentence. I usually try to give you a whole paragraph. That whole paragraph is usually addressing a point, one of the points that's important. Like if you reduce the lecture down into 5 major points, the fill in the blank context would be one of those 5 major points. One, the word that's being blanked out is a kind of keyword within the context. And so this is, I think, my contention. I believe someone who knows physics, not having watched the lecture at all, can actually answer it. So let me, as a test student, try to do this. So if I'm answering it as me, then of course I know how to answer because it's my own lecture. I remember it. I'll do fine. So I'm not doing that. But let me role play someone who knows physics well. And the way I think I can do that without being me is I can do this. I can go to the question. I'm not gonna watch any of the lectures. Let me just go to the question, and let me have ChatGPT answer it. And just because, I'm not using Notebook LM because Notebook LM again has access to the actual transcript. So Notebook LM is not someone who knows physics but not this specific lecture content. And even with the ChatGPT, I'm not going to use my main ChatGPT account because then it might be pulling in context from the work that I was doing using that account. And let me see if I can do this on an incognito window without creating any ChatGPT account. Yeah, no account. Let me see if I can do this. Can you help me answer this fill in the blank question? And I'll grab this question and then see how well ChatGPT does. So this version of ChatGPT it isn't aware of any of my lectures, but it has its general knowledge. So that's my stand-in of a physics expert who doesn't necessarily know what we cover in our class. And I hope, think, and hope that there's enough context here that someone who knows physics without knowing my specific lecture can still answer this. Let's see. And we'll test this out with the rest of the questions. We'll get some good statistics that way. And with this free access, I might run out of attempts, like free thing. Then I will do something. So let's give it a try. First, yeah, free fall. Yeah, that should be correct. And there's actually quite a bit of latitude here. You could answer free fall, free space fall, or free dash fall. That's another thing that I try to do as I'm writing these questions, that all the different versions will be accepted. And I believe air resistance is actually the correct one. So let me do it this way. I'm going to answer air resistance, and that'll get graded as correct. And I believe, oh wait, free dash fall didn't work. Oops. Maybe it should be just free fall, or it can be free space fall. Okay, not, I guess, free dash fall. Never mind. But the space is ignored. And the second question, I remember. So drag was a possible alternative, because now if you watch the lecture, in the lecture I say air resistance, but in the context, if someone thought we are ignoring drag, yeah, that would be physically correct. So yeah, answered it this way. So I could ask, could drag be the third blank? And it'll probably say yes. Yeah. So yeah. So okay, my physics expert who doesn't know my actual lectures got one right so far. Let me try question 2. And then, thank you. Can you help me with this question? This next question. And then I'll paste this in. And the rest of the questions I'll do it with a less commentary, because I got between this and the other lecture there's like 10 questions total. So let me. Key idea is dimensional consistency. Is it? Oh yeah, I guess every single turn. Yeah, unit of Okay, position meters. Okay. Now I'm just gonna put it in, because I think I allowed that as one of the options. Oh, never mind. I don't know. Maybe I should have allowed it. I think no. I think it's fine. Because why would you be abbreviating here? You're looking for one single word. Yeah, meter or meters. I think those are the two accepted ones. So if I run out of accountless attempts, I do have 2 ChatGPT accounts. There's my main one. I have a personal account that's not paid for, but if I run out of attempts here in incognito window, then I will switch to my non-main account and continue the rest of the questions. So I have that. Again, I'm limiting my. Okay, thank you. Here's the next question, and I'm thanking ChatGPT because I've been told that makes it behave better. I'll thank my toaster if it makes it work better. Acceleration, is that correct? See a line there? Yeah. Because, and again, a physics expert can figure that out because there's enough context here. Your velocity, it's talking about the velocity. So when you come to the part where it's talking about the slope, there's enough context for someone who's who knows the physics, but not my lecture specifically, to answer. So, indicates the acceleration. Oh wait, that should have been. Oh yeah, this one is challenging. So I know my own lecture, so I will tell you. It should be slope. Yeah, let me ask. Okay, so I'll say I tried acceleration and accelerations. I didn't, but and it says it's wrong. Are there other options? Stay looked up. Yeah. It got it. So there's multiple, two possibilities or multiple possibilities, and second guess from our physics expert is correct. Yeah. Okay, let's go to question 4 now. I cannot paste in image anymore, but I think I can do this. Uh, okay, I have the next question here. Please see below text. I cannot paste in image anymore, so I'll paste in this question and then put in a little thing and then put this one, and I have to work around the answer box because it's gonna mess up with the copy and pasting. So I have to say I have a answer box blank here, and then do it this way. So, all right, let's see what it says, or what should it be? Very small, highly negative. I have this might be spike, maybe. I don't actually remember the word I used in the lecture. Now this is one where it's a bit, this is not a technical word, so there's more possibilities. I forget what else I allowed this. Yeah, spike. Okay, good. Yeah, sure. If not spike, are there other options? Forget what I allowed. I don't think I made a jump. No, jump, kick, impulse. No. I forget what else I allowed here. But I don't think it's any of those other ones. It's not jump. It's not pick. It's not. But the one that I am allowing as the correct answer. Hey, that is what my physics expert says. All the other options are, yeah, yeah. It's for conceptual physics. Yeah. Let me go to question 5, and I'll continue with the other lecture. So yeah, I don't know. I said the word spike. That's the word in the lecture. Okay. Thank you. I have the next and the last fill in the blank question in this lecture, and then I have another lecture to work through. So this thing, and then put this in. It'll needs to fall through, and I'll say answer box blank. Okay, can I guess? Fall through the hive, half the matter, fall through a quarter? Quarter. Yeah, quarter. Yeah. Again, so I remember my own lecture. ChatGPT is my physics expert who doesn't necessarily know my lecture, but it's doing well so far. So it got 4 out of 5 on the first try, and the one that it missed on the first try, once I told it, it's not that, do you have another guess? The second guess was the right one. So let me look at the lecture 4 and do the same thing and see how well ChatGPT answers the rest of the fill in the blank questions without the benefit of having my, let me just finish answering enough of it to get 9 points, and then I've only been answering the fill in the blank questions. So let me just lecture set is mainly about it's maybe I'm not really thinking all that hard. Here I'm just selecting everything because that's the thing that will maximize the number of points without actually answering the question in earnest. So simple is to interpret. What does the equation tell you? Velocity is constant. I think again I'm going super fast. I could make a mistake, and in the question C I'm just checking everything as a kind of way to game the system. Top of the motion statement. Yeah. Okay. Do I have 9 points yet? Let me just finish through question 5 this way. That acceleration should be upward, I think. Again, going super fast. If I'm wrong, I yeah, and actually, there are like part C can sometimes give you hints for part A, because again, I'm choosing a context that's one of the major points, and part C is trying to address the like a few major points in the lecture, so it's just gonna end up that way, and yeah. So that's another reason in which this is not a random sentence, random word in a random sentence. It's a meaningful word in a meaningful context. Gives a warning. Oh yeah, that's the warning. Yeah, because of the shift in the LibreText. I do appreciate them for importing the textbook and having it continue to be available, but I wish they somehow were able to keep the same chapter and section number, because that would have been better for me. So I need to wait for the grade update, because I think I got at least 9 points, but I need to 14.2 points, but I need to wait for this to update to that current score. So once it does, I'll go to lecture 4 and I will finish demonstrating that someone who knows physics can answer those fill in the blank questions pretty well without knowing my specific lecture, because of the effort that I've taken to make sure that for the fill in the blank, I'm not citing a random word in a random sentence. It's a meaningful word in a meaningful context. So okay, so this is from the next lecture, and I will say this, and I'm not giving my physics expert any hint by telling them what the lecture title is. They just have to figure out from this context, from their expertise. So answer box blank. Okay. Yep. And I wonder if hopefully there's enough attempts remaining here. Influence. Yeah, gravity sounds right. And I thought I also allowed like gravitational force. Gravitational force. No. Oh, never mind. I guess. Now using our basic model, yeah, because I'm running out of free thing. Gravity force, maybe. I mean, my physics expert's first guess was gravity, and that was graded as correct. Because, I mean, I think, yeah, gravitational force. I guess I didn't allow that because that's not the word I spoke in the lecture, and when I was coding this in, I guess I didn't feel like that was necessary. But ChatGPT got it. It's fine. So with the basic model, let's see how well it does. Thank you. Here's the next question. And I think a basic model will still do well because ChatGPT over the last few years have gotten really capable, and again, I don't think these are difficult questions. Answer box blank 1, and then I'll have to. Oops, I think this is a blank 2, and this is answer box blank 1. So yeah, let's see. With the basic model, it's answering more quickly because it's the basic model. Likely, that might be wrong. Let's see. Natural question you could ask is, imagine change the situation is, how does changing parameters? What if it's not? Yeah, I think it's about. So this is challenging. So I remember my own lecture. So I would say, level ground. And so. So, but we'll do that. So we'll say it's not no air resistance, and then what if air resistance or drag? Okay, I'll say drag is slowing things down. So the second box will get graded as correct, but the first box won't because it has to be about level ground. Uh, it says blank 2 is correct on drag, but blank 1 is not correct on air resistance negligible, or no air resistance. Any other ideas? Type of launch, simplifying condition, symmetric. Okay, that's possible. Again, that's not the correct answer. I mean, level ground is connected to symmetric, so it's getting closer. Um, 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 non-symmetric. Any other idea? So, okay, this one is challenging. Non-symmetric. Launch and landing height are equal. What are those assumptions? Yeah. Third try, got it right. What if it's not level? Yeah. So again, our physics expert within a few tries is able to get to it. This is a challenging question because I don't think anything else is directly hinting at this. So that it got it. It was level. Thank you. Yeah. So let's get to question 3. We got 2 more questions. So far, someone, a physics expert who hasn't seen my lecture, but can get feedback on whether their guesses were correct. They, within a reasonable number of guesses, they are able to get to the correct answer. So far, we got 2 more questions left. So yeah, and we'll have tested the 9 questions total, I think. Okay, here's the next question. Now, it's not that I recommend that you working through the fill in the blank questions this way. I don't. You might going through it this way. You might not really remember answer box blank what they are about. But I guess I'm trying to kind of demonstrate the consideration that went into deciding on this fill in the blank. Again, it's not a random word in a random sentence. It's a meaningful word in a meaningful context. So much that oftentimes you can guess this better if you look ahead to part C. Independent. Yeah, I think that's right. Independent, yeah. Can I say orthogonal? Let me see. I might have allowed that orthogonal. I might have allowed that as an answer. We'll see. Nah, I didn't. Independent is the word we are using. And orthogonal feels a little bit redundant because we are saying they are perpendicular. That is what orthogonal means. So it says you can send the next one. So let me just do that. So this is the question, and then the blank. Oops. Answer box blank. Submit it. Let's see what it does. Direction, is it? Oh yeah, that is correct. Yeah. So again, this is the consideration that went into it. Here, yeah. So I give you large enough context that someone who's good at physics can guess this without having seen the lecture. Yep, that was it. Thank you so much. You are a lifesaver. I don't know. I don't actually have to do that because that was the last exchange here, and this is not even my account. It's not gonna remember me next time. So that's the fill in the blank questions. Again, this is the first semester I'm doing it, so I'm open to suggestions. Maybe some things that I overlooked, and my hope is that this semester with this class goes well enough that I'm gonna rewrite the lecture comprehension questions in my other classes in a similar way. I think this is much more structured and it's less random looking, and I think the questions here are more meaningful and more closely tied to what the lecture's lecturing on. So I do hope you will watch the lectures, and that watching the lecture helps you answer this without any additional help. But somehow, if it gets frustrating, there are things that can help, and I would rather recommend the notebook LM just because it can point you to the exact section of the lecture transcripts. But this demonstration was basically suppose someone knew physics well, can they guess this word without having watched the lecture? And my contention is that the answer there is yes, because ChatGPT, the vanilla version, no access to my lecture materials, can answer this well as some entity with a fair amount of physics knowledge.